Tuberculosis. It's a name you've probably heard, and it's been around for, well, forever, it feels like. But what's really wild is that it's still one of our biggest global health battles. So today, we're going to dig into exactly what it is and why it's so tough to beat.
Okay, so get this. What if I told you that one of the deadliest diseases on the planet is spread by something as simple as a cough? Crazy, right? Well, that's tuberculosis for you, or TB as you'll often hear it called. And its whole journey starts with the very air we breathe.
So let's break it down. What is TB, really? It's all caused by this tiny little bacterium called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And its favorite place to set up shop? Your lungs. And here's how it jumps from person to person. It's literally airborne. So when someone who has an active TB infection coughs, sneezes, heck, even just talks, they're sending these little bacteria out into the air. And if you happen to be nearby and you breathe that air in, well, those bacteria can find a new home in your lungs and start to grow. But here's where things get really interesting. Just because the bacteria are inside you, it doesn't automatically mean you're going to get sick. It's like the bacteria reach a fork in the road. And there are two very, very different paths they can take. I love this way of thinking about it. You've got a sleep TB and a wake TB. When the bacteria are asleep, that's called latent TB. Your immune system is basically a super strong security guard, keeping them locked down. You have the infection, sure, but you're not sick and you can't pass it on. But if that security guard, your immune system, gets weakened for any reason, those bacteria can wake up, and that's when you get active TB disease. And when those bacteria wake up, you'll know it. The signs are pretty hard to miss. We're talking a cough that just won't quit, sometimes even coughing up blood. Then there are fevers, drenching night sweats, weight loss, and this deep, draining fatigue. This is the awake stage, when TB is not only dangerous to you, but you can spread it to others. Okay, so after all that pretty grim news, here's the really important part. TB is almost always curable. But, and this is a big but, it's not a quick fix. Beating it takes a serious, long-term commitment. Think of it as a marathon, not a sprint, against a really stubborn opponent. So what does this marathon look like? Well, the standard treatment is a 6-month journey, broken into 2 main parts. The first 2 months, that's the intensive phase. It's like sending in the special forces, a powerful mix of drugs to wipe out the fast-growing bacteria. Then, for the next 4 months, you're in the continuation phase. This is like the cleanup crew, making sure to eliminate any of the slower, lingering bacteria that might be hiding out. And I cannot stress this enough. You have to finish the whole 6-month course. Stopping early is a recipe for disaster. Why? Well, for one, you'll stay sick longer. 2, you'll still be contagious. But the biggest danger? Any bacteria that survive can evolve. They can become superbugs that our medicines can't kill. And that's not just a problem for you. It's a problem for everyone. Look. These drugs are strong. They have to be. And because they're so powerful, they can sometimes cause side effects. Things like nausea, rashes, joint pain, you name it. It's crucial to talk to your doctor about anything you're feeling. They can help manage it because sticking with the treatment is the #1 goal. So just when you think the fight is complicated enough, we have to talk about a dangerous partnership. A co-conspiracy, really. I'm talking about TB and HIV. And this quote from the World Health Organization says it all. They are married, with each fueling the other. You really can't tackle one without considering the other. And it's truly a destructive two-way street. Think about it. HIV weakens your immune system. Remember that security guard? Well, HIV essentially ties the guard up, which makes it way easier for those sleeping TB bacteria to wake up and cause active disease. But it goes the other way too. Having an active TB infection can actually speed up how fast HIV progresses. It's just a terrible, vicious cycle. So let's circle back to that idea of stopping treatment early, because it leads to one of the scariest threats we face, drug-resistant TB. When bacteria aren't completely wiped out, the ones that survive can, well, they learn. They evolve. They become superbugs that our standard medicines just bounce right off of. And there are levels to this, kind of like a nightmare video game. First up, you have MDR-TB, or multi-drug-resistant TB. That means it's resistant to our 2 best frontline drugs. But then, there's the final boss, XDR-TB, extensively drug-resistant. This thing is resistant to our best first-line drugs and most of our backup options. We're left with very, very few ways to fight it. And I want you to just take a second to process this number. The mortality rate for XDR-TB, It's over 90%. Let that sink in. Over 90%. When our drugs don't work, a disease that we know how to cure becomes a near certain death sentence. So this is where we're left. It brings everything into focus, doesn't it? Finishing that full course of TB medicine, it's not just about one person's health. It's a crucial part of a global fight. It's how we stop these incurable superbugs from spreading. And that leaves all of us with a really big question. As these bacteria keep evolving, how are we going to adapt our fight?